our Tremolo series.
In this series, we're going to share with you tremolo pedals by some of our favorite manufacturers.
Thanks for joining us. Today we have the Hardwire TR-7 Tremolo Rotary. And the Beard's going to tell you what magic is hiding under the sheath.
Right. So Hardwire, I mean, they did give some kind of nice features. When you bought these pedals new, they came with a little like kind of knob protector thing that if you don't want people bumping your knobs, they came with like an extra piece of Velcro, and I think they even had like a glow-in-the-dark sticker you could put on that. So this is one we used in the Leslie series. We actually got this pedal in for the Leslie series, and then when we modulated it into tremolo, we kept it around. So it definitely has a Leslie sound in it, a rotary sound in it. It definitely has a tremolo sound in it. There's even, and something that we have probably won't explore on video, but there's even a vibe pedal sound in it and a
Chorus, right?
Not chorus, vibrato. The vibrato pan. We do have this hooked up in stereo, so all the sounds in this video will be in stereo because it is a stereo pedal, and we figured why not. Maybe because we were recording something else in stereo right before it, whatever. So if we lift this up, we get our knobs. All right, so let's go through the features real quick. We're getting right into this one. Features. Speed, depth, modify, and then our different modes. And so speed and depth are pretty self-explanatory.
Right.
Although at one point they say that depth becomes intensity.
For one of the selections.
For one. I think when you go to the bias trem, they call it intensity instead of depth. But I think...
Interchangeable.
Right. Ish. The modify knob is a little different in that it does change its functions based on which one you're in. And so we'll talk about that. We're going to look at, in this video, we're going to look at just your standard tremolo, your bias tremolo, and your dual tremolo. And I think those are the three tremolo modes.
Yep.
Yes. All right.
We have confirmation.
Yes, we've confirmed that. All right. So we'll start just plain tremolo. And I think we a lot of times do everything at 50, which doesn't necessarily make sense with the speed, but you're playing
2001 PRS single cut, PV Classic 30, Fender Hot Rod Deluxe.
Reference tone.
Reference tone.
And just as an interesting aside, we've always used these two amps down here because we think they're pretty, they're Craigslist affordable,
yes. Right?
Facebook Marketplace affordable,
right?
Used section of a music store, pretty popular amps. But as we run these in stereo, I do wonder what it's like to sit like at that pedal show and they have like the two rock and the other amp running because they're always running like a wet dry rig or something. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I bet that's
lovely
or glorious. I'm sure it is because these two amps sound awesome in the room when they're running together. Anyway, tremolo, everything at 50. So real quick to just explore the settings, let's take depth all the way to 0 and run that just on the basic tremolo here. I'm smiling because when we do that, you start off not knowing what the, not knowing how it sounds because the depth's at 0, and then have to kind of fight that in your playing. It's a nice sounding.
It is. We keep going. We can't keep them all, and every time we play, we're like, that sounds really good.
That sounds nice. All right, so take the depth back a little bit, and then in the tremolo setting, the modified knob is your different waveforms. And they didn't really jump into
what they were.
Right, but typically you run for more of like a sine wave, and then as you turn it up, you get to more of a square wave. So they give you more of kind of a, you called it the ocean. An ocean with low swells,
yeah,
and then your worst nightmare hurricane.
The weather started getting rough. The tiny ship was tossed. That would be the square wave.
Right. We're at the beginning of Gilligan's Voyage right now. At the end, we'll be right before they're on the island.
Yeah, exactly. Right. We're going to use that for the rest of the series now. Here on Gilligan's. Am I playing now?
Yeah, okay, playing now.
Right. Should I just keep singing?
No.
I can listen to that choppiness all day in stereo. Yeah.
Yeah, and since we had that depth up pretty high, it started off kind of rough. Mm-hmm. You know, you could turn that depth back and tone out that, or smooth out that sine wave. The next one, and we're not going to explore the rate knob. I think it makes it faster, it makes it slower.
And usually when you top it out, it's unusable for the most part. So
unusable in a traditional sense of the
Josh Scott.
Yeah, usable if you're running that fun. So let's go to the. It's really small, right? Let's go to the bias trem. Mm-hmm. And so, what do you want to do here? 50? Why don't you play a little bit? And we'll start at 50. The modified knob is tone. So if you play just a little bit, I'll move the modify so they can get the range of tone and maybe play with the depth a little bit just to give them a sense of what the bias trem is.
All right. That was a really dynamic range on that tone. Mm-hmm. The bottom wasn't total wet blanket over the amp, but it cut it, and the top was just about approaching ear dart range, but never quite got there.
I was thinking it sounded really nice.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Even the two extremes were not unusable.
Mm-hmm. So we actually stopped to look at something. We figured out we made a mistake. That was what Pat was just playing. Was actually the Opto, which is like your '60s Fender amp kind of tremolo. So we made a little mistake with that. There's actually 4. There's tremolo, Opto, bias, and then duo. And so now we're not going to duo. We're going to bias. And so just to make sure we're in the right space, we'll go up. And I think, yelling in the mic, I think same kind of thing. We'll leave it there. I'll move the modify again. In this one, modify should be the tone. And so we'll move the modify, and then we'll come back and we'll move the intensity a little bit. And this is the one where it would actually be intensity. So just your Opto was depth. This is intensity.
Okay. All right. Yeah, again, the tone.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very usable.
It got a little closer, more close to Brain Darty that time on that one. But I really like the sound of it too.
Yeah.
I think of the three we've done, that might be my favorite. Just saying.
Sound good?
Not that it matters. Maybe it does. I don't know.
Scorecard, check. His favorite.
Yeah. And so that leaves us with just the Duo now. And I think really the reason we kind of got them screwed up and out of order is because the Duo is the one we want to get to.
Right, yeah. How fast can we get to the Duo? Do we just skip one altogether to get to the Duo?
The Duo is pretty cool. Your modify knob actually becomes a speed knob in the Duo, so you end up with 2 speed knobs.
Right.
So you have one tremolo going into the other. So your tremolo, your first speed knob is setting the speed of the first tremolo. That is then being fed into speed knob 2, which is setting the speed of second tremolo. And boy, I don't know. Let's set the first speed knob kind of slow. We'll bring our depth up to about the middle, and we'll set the second speed knob kind of fast. And I have no idea what it's going to sound like, but it's going to sound cool.
All right. When it starts fading out, you can hear what it's doing, yeah.
That's really cool. Props to you being able to play through mixing all the speeds. But it was kind of weird because even when you were turning speed 2 and that was changing, that speed 1 being constant.
Right.
And then got speed 2 kind of back, and then we moved. There was always kind of like a constant, I think, for you to play off of, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. And I don't know if this is the time to talk about tap tempo. I don't know. It's one thing we didn't say yet, right?
Right. Do we talk about it in regards to this one, or do we?
Yeah, because this one is probably a little. I think we're trying to figure out which one it actually set. So maybe I shouldn't have brought that up then.
No, that's fine.
Go back to something.
We'll go back to the bias trim.
Something more sane.
If you take the foot switch and hold it, it is now in tap tempo mode. So if I give Pat 1, 2, 3.
Always comes in handy.
Right. So you do have that, and then again to turn it off, you press and hold, and it's off.
And it's nice enough to flash at you how fast it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's the Hardwire. Used market. This is not. So there's only 2 pedals I think that we're doing in the whole series that are not new, or you can't still be purchased new. Both of these are leftovers from the Leslie Sound series that we did. So both of these, this one and the Line 6 would be the other one, had really nice Leslies on them. So you could go and check that out if you're interested in it. But after these, I think every other pedal that we're doing,
Except for the Diaz.
except for this season. So there's 3 pedals in this series currently.
Right.
3 pedals in the Tremolo series. In the Tremolo series that are not on the new market. And this is one of them. But on the used market, check out Reverb, check out eBay, places like that. You see them pop up a lot. Really good price, really versatile pedal. Somebody in one of the comments on that Leslie Sound, I should have looked up his name, but had made a remark how he thought this was a real sleeper pedal and underrated pedal, and we tend to agree with them. So with that, please subscribe, hit the like button, go check out Instagram and Facebook, and follow us there too. We post a lot of upcoming stuff to those places as well. Tons more pedals coming in the Tremolo series, so please stick around and join the conversation. And with that,
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.
drive!
The tiny ship was tossed. We just can't help ourselves.